All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakoyah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to you, Akim, pushing this word with true sincerity, with charity, presenting your bodies as a living sacrifice. We who are ready to live salute you. All right, so I just want to go into the lesson. I just want to go into this lesson, right? It's about a little over 2 hours long, this lesson, from the brothers in my camp. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I can pretty much get a gist of what's they're going into just by reading the title. Message to all you women that say you believe, right? And I just want to, it just sparked my spirit to say what I'm about to say. All right. I don't know how long this is gonna be a lesson. I don't know how many scriptures I'm gonna bring out, but I just want to touch on it. All right, and I just want to say for you brothers that don't have a woman, consider yourself blessed. All right, consider yourself blessed. All right, it's less responsibility you got to deal with, less of a headache. All right, the Lord is actually doing you a favor. All right, I know me personally. I live alone. You know, and I did have my children staying with me, my 19-year-old daughter and my 13-year-old boy. The Lord blessed for me, for them to be where they're at now, which is amongst the church and the body. So I'm pretty much living alone, and it's a blessing. It is a motherfucking blessing. Let me just say that, man. Of course, Jake may have females that, they deal with from time to time. You know, Nothing really serious, but, that's a beautiful thing in and of itself. If you ask me, I like my peace, man. What the scripture says, hold on. Right, this is Proverbs 21:19. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. Right. Yeah, it's better to dwell in the wilderness. It's one more, I think. It is. Is that the same? Right. This is excuse me. Proverbs 21:9. Excuse me. Can hardly see. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. Right. So yeah, man. There's no price tag on your peace, man. That is one more. Let me grab one. Right. This is Sirach 25:16. I had rather dwell with a lion and a dragon than to keep house with a wicked woman. Yeah. So yes, save yourself the pain, the trouble, the heartache. You know, Save yourself that, man. Scriptures, yeah, it's better to dwell. Let me see if there's more to that. 17. The wickedness of a woman changeth her face and darkeneth her countenance like sackcloth. A husband shall sit among his neighbors, and when he heareth it, shall sigh bitterly. Man, you gonna feel that, you know. That's why Paul said what he said, man. You know, those that have wives be as though they had none. You know, those that have wives be as though they have none. You know, if you don't, you know, Paul said it, man. If you don't, if you have a wife, you know, when she pleases the well with you, don't try to, you know, get rid of her. You know, but if you do have, I mean, but if you don't go looking for one. You know. Now, for the most part, Jake is gonna, you know, the scripture says, "He that don't have a wife shall go up and down mourning." So it's a natural instinct for a man, because we're men. You know, we are part of our function or reason for being here is to plant seed. So we're gonna go looking for a woman. You know, you could tell Jake all day, don't go out and don't do this and don't do that. Jake gonna go out. Jake gonna go look for a woman. It's gonna happen, man. It just is what it is. You know, we not no fucking monks, man. You know, just sitting on a hill, man. You know, taking hops to keep our libido down. You know, no, we're not doing that shit, man. You know, but there's a balance within everything, and there's a way to do everything, and there's a right way to do anything. You know, a lot of times when Jake goes out looking for a woman, they're just not looking for. They're definitely not looking for no wife. You know, if I'm looking for a hoe, I'm looking for a hoe. I'm looking for a hoe. Somebody to get the job done and go. You know what I'm saying? So I can get back to my real woman, which is Sophia, right? This knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's the woman that's going to lead us to a kingdom, man. All right? These women here in Babylon, they're going to lead you to a fucking early grave. They will lead you to an early grave. They will lead you into an insane asylum. You know, they'll lead you down a lot of roads where you don't want to be. You know. You know, it's very important that we keep our heads in this time and in this time and in this climate. You know, there's a time and place for everything. You know, time and place for everything, man. You know, this is a movie playing out. You know, imagine a movie just being all love scenes. You know, it doesn't work that way. There's a lot of different twists and turns, and every now and then you might get a love scene. All right. But hey, man, Scripture says, "Be with food and raiment, being there with content, man. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life." You know, we're soldiers, man. We only, you know, we watch those. I like those old war movies, man. I'm thinking about one. I think it was Platoon. You had that chick. I love you long time. A little Chinese bitch or a Vietnamese bitch or whatever. You know, little hooker. You know, all the guys were paying to sleep with her. You know, it is a war movie. Like when you're a warrior, I mean, when you're a soldier, you just pretty much carry your rifle and your rations, just what you need to get the mission done. You know, everything was rationed, even sex. Same thing with this war, because we're at war, right? So we're not here to get comfortable and stay and, you know, all these things come along with it, but really, man, you'll save yourself a lot of trouble, man. You know, and if the Lord sends you a woman, you know, so be it. She be pleased to dwell. Then guess what? Now you gotta deal with that. Now you gotta deal with that fucking headache, man. Now you gotta deal with it. Now you gotta deal with it every fucking day. Every fucking day. Now you gotta look at this motherfucker and deal with this motherfucker every day. All right, that's what you want to do. Is that what you want to do with your life? All right, you know. But yeah, this is my little 2 cents. Just thinking about it, man. I really appreciate my peace. You know, at this point, I understand that Isaiah 4:1 will come. Bitches come. These bitches will come in due time, due season. But I ain't in no rush for that shit, man. You know, I ain't in no rush for that shit right now. My eyes is focused and locked on Sophia and where they should be. All right, eyes up here, buddy. But yeah, I hope this was edifying and shalom.